Well, if you're joining us today, welcome. You'll notice that there's a lot more ambient noise in this episode than normal. This is OUTBOUND, a pilot episode spin-off series of our podcast, Housebound. If you've been following us since the beginning, you'll remember that we played around with the idea right off the bat and basically dismissed it. But it's getting kind of boring inside. So today, Ashlyn is very excited because it's
a special day.
A very special day, yes. You want to tell us a little bit about what today is and why you're so excited for it?
Today is October Big Day, which is in celebration of World Migratory Weekend. And it's a day to go look at birds.
Great. And you have binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
Listeners won't be able to tell, but she is clutching them very excitedly.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned this just a couple of episodes ago.
In the library episode.
In a library episode of the Housebound podcast. So if this takes off and we start a whole new podcast series of Outbound podcasts, please go and visit the Housebound podcast. And we'll put the episode in the description so that you know which episode to listen to. But you rented this or borrowed it from the library.
I borrowed a birding backpack. Yeah, so it came with like a book about birds and a pair of binoculars and a case and stuff like that, and I absolutely loved it. So after I returned it, I started looking for binoculars, and I went to the only place in Saskatoon that like seems to be a birding store, and their introductory price was like $300. So then I went on Amazon and got myself a $50 pair of binocs, and I'm ready to go.
You used some birthday money for that, and then your brother-in-law got you a book on birding called The Stokes Essential Pocket Guide to Birds of North America by Donald and Lillian Stokes.
Greg knows that because he's had it memorized and not because he was holding it right in front of him.
It is my favorite bedtime read. Every night, a cup of tea and Stokes Essential Pocket Guide to Birds.
Oh no! You're already old people.
Yeah.
So this will be a bit of an experimental episode. And that's all there is for an intro. So
welcome.
We're going to go walking. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, come along with us.
Yeah, pause the episode right here. Get on your best walking shoes. Come for a, I'm assuming 20 to 30 minute walk with us. We'll see how long this ends up actually being, but and then press play once you're ready to go. And you'll know when it's ready to go, not because of a noise that allows you to turn the page along with us in your book, but maybe we'll start off with a few seconds of ASMR leaf walking.
I mean, it's probably more exciting than listening to people look at birds.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is publish this on Apple Fitness Plus. Because on Apple's Fitness Plus, there's these like walk with me workouts.
Oh.
And essentially what they are is like they interview somebody famous usually while they're on a walk with them. And so every podcast or like episode starts like this, where you just like hear them walking along, and then they're like, when I was in the 5th grade, my teacher told me that.
They're always British, are they? That's lovely.
Well, those are the famous people worth interviewing on a podcast.
Only British people.
Yeah.
Only British famous people.
Yeah.
Well, it's second weekend technically of October, and
Thanksgiving weekend.
The summer was insane with weather, and today is basically no wind, which is
Perfect.
really great for our purposes.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly only 10 or 11 degrees. Feels kind of like about, I would say, almost 15 in the sun, in the direct sun. Maybe in the shade it feels a little bit cooler. But it's a really perfect kind of day for
Pretty chill day.
walking and trying to record something without a lot of noise from the wind on the microphone. You might hear some noises that sound like bird screams, but are just neighborhood kids. I guarantee you they are just having fun.
I hope
We can
so.
see them running in a park. They are fine.
They are fine.
So you guys go for lots of walks, hey? Hey?
No.
No? Don't you have a dog?
We do have a dog, but our dog is,
Chosen to reserve himself to the indoors?
well, no, he really likes the outdoors, but he's got a lot of anxiety or something about walking and meeting other dogs specifically. So we
Magpie.
are seeing a trainer about that. And hopefully we can deal with that because I would like to go on more walks
Yeah.
with him, but I end up just running in circles in the yard with him because he can't handle it.
Well, at least that's still the outside.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
Still fits the topic of this episode.
Being out of doors.
Yep. And you guys aren't really tenters, right?
Certainly
Like
not.
campers?
No.
Not so much.
Not even trailerers?
If there was a trailer, I would be more willing to go. If there's a cabin, I'm even more willing to go. But
If it's a cabin with like running water, maybe.
So one of Ashlyn's podcasts on the camp meals.
Yeah.
That one was really only relevant for you if like the zombie apocalypse hit and like rations were low and
yeah.
No, like we camped when I was a kid.
Yeah, we've both been camping lots. We just don't like to breathe in our own sweat in a tent anymore because we're adults.
Well, so far I've only spotted 2 magpies, but I have added them to our ongoing log.
And
Well, we heard
zero,
some chickadees earlier.
0 out of those 2 magpies were afraid of us.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would be. They're protected, which is ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, you're not allowed to kill magpies.
They're
Wow.
everywhere and they're kind of pesky.
They are everywhere.
are they endangered?
I don't remember, they're certainly not endangered. I don't remember why they're protected, but I remember that on the farm they would steal, we had an outside dog and they would steal her food all the time. Like we had to make sure that she was right there to eat immediately,
Right.
because if you left food out, they would just steal her food. And it got really ridiculous. But we weren't allowed to do anything about it because they were protected.
And I'm not saying that they ever did anything about it, but I do not see magpies when I visit.
We did not do anything about it, but they also don't have an outside dog anymore at the farm, so it's just not as much of a problem, I think.
You guys still have your bicycles?
We do.
We do.
Nice. Have you been able to take them out in your new area at all, or?
We haven't used
Last
them this year.
but we didn't use them this summer because it was so hot and Chris was so busy with work.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we got a dog.
And you got a dog.
And I think he would actually really like to run beside a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he would be good at it. We just need him to be able to not freak out when there's other dogs or people or rabbits,
Yeah.
because that would be really good because he would get much more tired
Yeah.
than walking beside me, who is already winded and we've walked like 3 blocks. What do you see, Ashlyn?
A black-capped chickadee.
A chickadee.
Describe it to us.
Have you ever seen a black-capped chickadee? It's pretty similar.
That was rude. We can't see it through your binoculars.
There is a tiny black-capped chickadee on that house with a brown roof, and it was coming in and out of the gutters.
Does it have, like, is the top of it black? Is that why it's called?
Or just its head.
Yes, that is, by the name. The black-capped chickadee has been added to the log.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Ashlyn, do you want to explain the log?
So I have accounts on both eBird and Merlin ID.
Oh.
eBird is an electronic log that birders could use to keep track of which birds they've seen, but then it also gets sent to Cornell University, which does statistical tracking and ecological tracking as to where different birds are during different times of the season, and it can help them see which populations are increasing and which populations are declining around the world.
That's pretty helpful.
That's really interesting, actually. It's interesting that they care about the birds all over the world and not just nearby them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the birds go all over the world.
That's true.
So many birds that we see here in Saskatoon can also be seen later in the year in like Mexico.
All thanks to today, Big Bird Day.
National
National
or
National
worldwide
Migratory
World
Migratory
Bird
Day.
Migratory Day. Hashtag
It's just today that gets them where they need to go.
WBMD 2021. Something in regards to walking and fitness and outdoors is to note that all four of us have Fitbits.
Yeah.
That's true.
Almost.
Ashlyn had a Fitbit, but now has an Apple Watch.
Ooh.
So now I am
That's why
clearly
she's
and
better than us.
objectively
Yeah.
superior. That was a joke.
But not,
Just
but
to
not
be clear.
really.
The nice thing about Fitbits are that you can, depending on which model you have, they will do more or less things, but generally they all track basic
Seems to
steps
do the same thing.
and show you the time.
Yeah, track your
And
heartbeat.
if you get a fancy enough one, they'll read you notifications and track heart rates and things like that as well. But you can set goals for yourself. You can set daily, weekly goals, step count goals, and as unactive or inactive as I find myself being now and again, it's still nice to have something that tracks you through the day, and you know that, like, oh yeah, I was actually doing stuff today. Like, maybe I feel kind of crappy today, but I didn't make my 10,000 or 12,000 step goal, but I was still active, and I can see here's where I was active. And mine even shows me my sleep cycles, which is really fun. But so if you're looking for a way to, I don't know, inspire yourself to get out and be a little bit more active, or just to like see where you are in regards to activity during the day, during the week, you don't have to grab a Fitbit. You can grab basically any kind of step counter, but yeah, it's a really good tool. And I don't know much about Apple Watches, but I know that they do have a lot of the same features as well as some extra ones because they're more expensive.
Yeah, they collect
So
a lot of the same data, but they just present it in a different way, and then you have the advantage of having a bunch of third-party apps.
right. And I know that at one point Fitbit was its own thing, but now it's owned by Google, which is really helpful for Holly and I because we have Android phones, specifically Google phones, and so it integrates really well. But I assume that your Fitbit, Ashlyn, didn't have issues with your iPhone.
The only thing I couldn't do was the specific Fitbit I had the ability to send like pre-selected quick replies if
Okay.
you had an Android phone. And so because I didn't have an
Okay.
Android phone, I wasn't able to send those quick replies. But that was
Gotcha.
the only difference.
We going to the
We
park?
going this
Yeah.
way?
Oh, are we
Oh,
ready?
okay. I guess we're cutting in to see some birds,
Maybe.
Potentially.
to see some bird, to see a magpie or two.
Do you have any third-party apps on your Apple Watch right
Oh,
now that you
tons.
love?
Lots that like present data in different ways that I really like, but there's also just like messaging apps. Like I have the Facebook Messenger app on my watch that lets you respond and view a whole chat and stuff like that, which is really nice.
So do you type on your watch?
Yep,
That seems like, how big is your watch?
it's like scribble type, or you can dictate.
Oh, I see. Dictating wouldn't be so bad.
You can also answer calls on your Apple Watch, right?
Sure can. Has a mic.
Grief.
And the speaker? Or I guess you would be connected with your...
No,
your...
it has a speaker as well.
Oh, wow.
You can have the whole conversation on your watch.
You look like a
you're
spy. Yeah. All right. The
Roger,
eagle has
Roger,
landed.
10-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like us walking through a park talking into little microphones
Yeah.
taped to our jackets.
Yeah. Just ready to like bust
You
a drug
see?
deal.
I
hear
so
birds.
many.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
time to
I see
bust out
some.
the app.
I mean, there's one there. Oh, there's a magpie. Never mind. Not interesting.
There's 2 up there, though. Little birds.
My app has identified both a house finch and a house sparrow.
Oh.
So why are they
I was going to
outside?
say these birds this way.
Get them back to the house.
They're
Get
both
them
little.
back in the house.
The
How
very top of
appropriate that the
tree
first
in the middle.
actual birds that we see.
Because the sun's behind them, it's hard to see.
Oh.
We're gonna have a spin-off podcast series called Southbound, and it's gonna be
Southbound.
about all
Migratory
of the birds.
birds. The heck was that? For listeners.
I repeat everything I
Yeah.
hear. I had to stop myself from reading all of the signs as we passed that strip mall.
Oh, yeah.
Chris often, when we're driving, is like, "Can
whoa,
you
whoa, whoa."
stop?" Because I just read everything out loud. What do you see?
Nothing right now.
Well, this is fascinating for our listeners, I'm sure. Here, Ashlyn. So here, I'll just describe the scene. So, I mean, I'm sure Chris will have posted a video, but Ashlyn is just holding out her phone, tapping a button, and allowing it to take in sound, I'm assuming, so that it can tell you which birds are in your area.
Well, the hilarious thing is I literally can't do that while you're describing it because
Oh,
it needs
so
to be
Ashlyn
quiet.
has stopped taking the sound. All right, everyone, we'll be silent for a moment.
Two birds have been identified, a black-capped chickadee and a house finch again.
Get them.
I was thinking of the passing of Priscilla while you were doing that.
Who's Priscilla?
Oh, this is a good story, and it relates to birds.
Well, didn't we already talk about it in our?
I think we talked
in our
about
it.
past-
We
So
have
for
talked
listeners
about it.
who are keen enough, you can go back and listen to our.
I
don't
didn't
know.
listen
Our
well
episode
enough
about
while
pets?
we made that one, apparently.
It was just a pet that had died. Well,
Hey, there's a merry-go-round.
there is. Are
I
you?
don't think I've seen one of
Anybody-
those
You want to
in
go?
an actual
You want to go
park.
do some merry-go-round ASMR?
Oh yes.
No.
Let's get somebody to.
I'm not getting on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
you
will
can just
throw
stand.
up.
You can just stand and watch.
Yeah.
I'll jump on.
Nice. I'll push.
Okay.
Oh, there's a black-capped chickadee right there
Oh,
There's a whole bunch of birds over there.
in that tree.
This is so ridiculous.
For our narration, I am actively looking at a black-capped chickadee. It's jumping from branch to branch and calling out. Wow, birds, man.
Hell of a time to be alive. Birds.
All right, I will stow the Stock's Essential Pocket Guide to Birds of North America in my pocket, and
I'm gonna sit
that'll
on this
allow me a
bench.
free hand to be able to push Chris on this very rickety, I'm assuming, merry-go-round that should have been decommissioned years ago.
That was the bench, not even the merry-go-round.
All that I really hope for is that it squeaks terribly loud.
Just so that we can catch that on the audio.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
If you go too far, though,
All right, listeners, just maybe put down your volume just a little bit.
Yeah, we don't know how loud it's gonna
You're
be.
gonna scare away all the birds.
All right, you ready?
You're gonna scare away all the birds.
I'm so ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's too silent.
Oh,
That
wow,
is
that's a
The world's
well-oiled
most greased
merry-go-round.
up merry-go-round I've ever seen.
Okay, that was sad, Greg.
But you know what? We need more people pushing. You guys should be pushing.
I'm gonna throw up.
The
that
bench is-
squeak was the bench I was
bench
sitting
noise.
on.
Let's get this bench noise in here
This
instead.
bitch. Screw the merry-go-round.
That's what we're looking for.
There we go.
So somebody do that while we go around on the merry-go-round. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
can
kidding.
do
I'm
it.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What? Whoa. Okay, now I'm feeling sick.
Yeah. Whoa, that was a good one.
This wasn't as fun as I remembered it being.
No.
That's because you're an adult now and you get sick immediately. But look at the play structure. Doesn't it look like a squid?
My
little
question
bit.
is, do kids not get sick, or do kids just not care that they are
They
sick?
are sick?
I think both.
There's a metallic slide that's still there.
I know, Kate. So that's what I was about to say about the merry-go-round is that I haven't seen one in an actual park in a very long time because I was under the impression that they were all taken out.
Yeah, because they're not
they
safe.
weren't safe. And that's the same thing
Same
as these
thing
like
with those
tall
slides.
metallic slides.
That burn kids while they go down.
Greg, a great time to test
Really?
it out for our active listeners.
Run, Greg.
Like
Do
run
it.
on
Yeah.
top of it.
Run up the slide part. This is impressive that he's doing it. Why do people listen to me?
Anything for fame, I tell you.
I did it.
Okay, now sit on your butt and go down.
It's so hot. Ow.
It's so
Just kidding. It's not. It's not a particularly hot day today, so.
That's fair.
Oh, now I'm really tired. Now you listeners are going to have to hear me wheeze for the rest of the episode.
That gasping in the background is Greg.
Greg, time to survive.
Well, I feel accomplished. I've been able to successfully identify 3 different birds
Did you
only
log
by
them?
their sound using the app, and yes, they have been logged.
Nice.
And have been able to visualize with my binoculars magpies, chickadees, and house finches.
Nice.
Anybody want to get pushed on a swing?
You know, a swing might actually have some good ASMR material.
Who gets the baby swing?
It's not me.
I don't think I'll
Okay.
I'll just push Chris.
Everybody quiet
I'll
while
just
I
push
sit
Chris.
down for the first time. If we get these chains creaking just right. Oh yeah.
Sounds like a ghost town with like the tumbleweed, and then just the swings are just swinging on
Yeah.
their own, you know.
When the super creepy shot that always happens at
And
the
the
beginning
wind
of
forcing
the-
itself
So
into
this
my
sounds
mic.
like the kind of sound they'd have in the background, and then a slow violin would build, and you'd be like, "Welcome to horror."
Oh, and then you
Town."
definitely have to jump
some
off.
terrifying,
Yeah.
awful.
Wouldn't one of these houses be ideal property where your window looks in at this like always empty tiny park?
Always empty time.
I think if you're like a family with a bunch of kids, this is a
It'd
nice
be so much fun.
Yeah.
area. Or even just a family that are like a couple that has like people over and just hang out in the park.
Yeah.
Do a barbecue and then
Yeah, I grew up with my house across the street from a playground. So that was basically our backyard, and it was the best. But because it was in front of our house, Mom could just see us through the front window.
That's lovely, actually. 'Cause then she doesn't have to worry.
Exactly. So we would all just sit in the living room and look out the window for when our friends arrived at the park or someone we wanted to go play with, as we knew all the neighborhood
Like
playground kids.
how a dog sits and looks out the windows and waits. Okay,
You know,
are
I've never thought of that analogy before, but it works. It checks out. There's also been times where we'll bring one 2-way radio with us to the park, so then we could call Mom
Oh, yeah.
across the street back at home, or she could call to us.
Yeah.
Or to Dad, often when we went skating.
Where's there a rink
Yeah.
right across you?
The rink was a little bit further back, so basically all you could see was the top of our helmets over the baseboards, or the
You know when they biff
edgeboards.
it because their helmets disappear.
Either that or they just sat down.
I definitely remember our family had a bunch of walkie-talkies. Or 2-way radios, whatever you want to call them.
I remember turning them on and finding other kids, families or whatever.
Oh.
We had school, well, it was the elementary school that we went to, so the school ground. And that was about a 2-minute walk from our house. And so it was completely out of line of sight. But there was a paddling pool there, so in the summers, we'd go and hang out. Maybe once every, there might have been summers where we went like once a week, but it was probably less often than that actually. But you'd play in the pool, and if you're there long enough, they'd have to add chlorine midway through the day.
Because you're all so dirty.
Right, and so you get out, they add the chlorine, you have to be out for 20 minutes or something, 30 minutes. So then we'd all go run around and play in the playground, and the playground was full of sand. It was burning hot on your feet.
Oh, no.
But there's
And
just...
then you take all the sand back into the pool.
Well, they made you wipe it off, but because by the time the half an hour was up, it had dried off and it could just brush off. But yeah, that's...
Sounds like
we definitely grew up around parks as well.
It's so fun. What are these called?
Oh, the little libraries.
Little
yeah.
library. Little free library.
Take a look, share a book.
This is so fun. There's all sorts of books in
Now
here.
come across a little free library. The colours are blue and yellow, with small chunks of wood resembling leaves, frogs, birds, and butterflies.
It's in its native habitat.
Here on a stool next to a tree.
The stool is strapped to the tree,
Yes.
which I think is really fun.
Well, so the wind can't blow it over.
The tree provides shade
For the box?
to hinder warping in the binding of the pages.
The main predator are young readers.
Who eagerly devour said books at a rapid pace.
That's pretty good.
There is one in there called the Saskatchewan 2016 Discovery Guide.
Official vacation and accommodation planner. Oh boy.
For Saskatoon for 2016.
Oh, okay.
It's only 5 years out of date.
Yeah. I mean, people at least still saw each other back then, so. Well, I think we must.
It recommends eating at the German Cultural Center,
Oh,
so this
no
is
longer.
out of date.
Yep. Well, yeah, there's quite a few of these little libraries kind of tucked around.
It's
this
so
neighborhood.
cool.
Yeah, I know of at least 5 in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
littlefreelibrary.org.
Littlefreelibrary.org.
At my parents' one, they have a lot of kids that live on their cul-de-sac, and so they mostly have children's books inside their little library.
So do they bring them back after they read them?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But lots of my parents' friends, because they know they have one of those little libraries on their front lawn, they'll donate
Give them some
older
books.
used books to my parents to put in their library.
It might be fun to have in our area. We have a lot of kids too.
Oh, I saw the cutest thing in the local news. One of the little boys added a little library to his local park, except it was a stick library for dogs. Take a stick, leave a stick.
That's cute.
There's this little basket with a sign and a bunch of small sticks for dogs.
Aww.
Oh,
A stick library.
take a stick, leave
They
a
will
stick.
never
That's
leave a
just
stick.
Amazing. Yeah.
Just free sticks. Because once they get the stick, they tear it apart. I don't think any of the birds that we saw today migrate.
Well, they all have to migrate somewhat.
They're all
right?
migrating,
No, they
so we
don't.
only saw the ones that aren't.
Chickadees are
Aren't
here all
we
winter.
all
Magpies are
in
here
a
all
state
winter.
of migration?
No, go home.
Transitioning from one stage of life to the next.
Ah.
Greg, you should write a poem about migration for the caption.
The migration is the journey that we had along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
The friends
true.
that we made.
Literally.
Ooh.
And then there's the crows.
And there's the crows.
Add that to the list.
Or we could just not.
Did you log it?
I'm logging it now.
Yeah.
There's some birds on a wall.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, they're gripping the side of the
That's
the
pretty
corner of the
intense.
wall with their
Stucco.
feet.
And there's no ledge.
Yeah.
Huh.
The heck's that about?
They've got 1 foot on each side.
House finches.
This pause brought to you by, what's the app called?
Merlin ID.
Merlin ID,
Merlin ID, for when you have no ID of what you're hearing.
of what you're hearing. Now we have arrived back where we started.
Back to the Reimer household.
Back to the lawn filled with leaves due to a lack of negligence of...
A lack of
not a lack of
negligence.
negligence.
Due to a
Full
lack
empowerment
or
of negligence.
Yeah.
For dealing with them. Anybody have a funny quip to end our podcast? And then Ashlyn, you're the one who usually has the funny quip at the end, and then everyone starts laughing.
Let this walk continue to you. We pass the baton of birding onto you, the listener.
That's the
I think we should just leave it open-ended.
Leave it open-ended, like Inception, where the top keeps spinning, or did it teeter
Or totter.
or totter?
It's funny.
Close curtain.
This is Housebound. I'm Chris.
I'm Holly.
I'm Ashlyn.
I'm Greg.
And you're invited.